I am one of the chosen. This is the chosen race. Look at this earth and look at what's been created upon it, and look what, this is the chosen race. It is me, my blood, my people.
A right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
All the thousands upon thousands of militia members all across this country, I mean, that says a lot.
That's right.
It's not we, the people, anymore. It's them, the tyrannical, authoritarian bastards.
Can you hold your camera?
We, the little poor peasants that have had our mouth taped up and shut.
One in the chamber, you know, it's always in there, you know. The ammunition's always in there.
We, the ones that want to speak, are we the ones that lie dead in graves in prison?
Nobody's gonna take my babies away. Nobody. And if they ever try to do that, there's gonna be death. Promise to you.
This is Laura Huey and Craig Santee. We'd been living with the Rocky Mountain Militia in Verkin, Utah for a month.
Doing Operation Clean Sweep on the whole movement and arrested 300 members of what they call the Order.
The militia was in the beginning stages.
It says right here in our Second Amendment, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
We pretty much had to start every day from ground zero and prove that we weren't FBI agents.
Everyone's who they are, you know.
But things were picking up in Verkin. Dave Dalby suddenly moved his family out of the house into a secret location.
And Johnny Bangerter, who's pretty much the leader of the militia, was getting ready for what his sources said would be an impending federal raid.
Something's going on, that's all I can say. That's all I can say.
So where are we headed?
We're headed up Zion Canyon area. We've got everything. Grand Canyon, Zion, Bryce, the Mojave Desert, the high country. We've got everything from tundra to sagebrush, you know. We've got all the extremes.
For the Rocky Mountain Militia, Zion is like their holy land, or it's like their promised land, and they believe that Zion will hide them and provide them with everything they need to survive, food and shelter.
So I wouldn't leave this land for nothing.
Where are we headed?
To the cabin.
What do you see as kind of your main role?
Teaching the guys, and the women as well, how to survive without McDonald's and Arby's and Burger King and 7-Eleven and you know, these people don't understand. You know, they think they can't survive without it. Teach them survival. That's the main job, and it's our duty to uphold our Constitution and fight against enemies both foreign and domestic. And right now we got a lot of domestic enemies, and they're in our government, and we are the people, and we must not forget. And that's our job as a militia, to secure that freedom, to secure a future for our children. If we're terrorists for believing in the Constitution and believing in our commandments and our scriptures, and I guess we better let them have a lot of lead.
The other day, the Dalbys came back to clean out the last of the stuff from their house.
Are you worried by the rumors that Johnny heard about the federal raid?
I've been worried about the federal raid for years now. I mean, it's getting closer than ever. It's just reached an all-time boiling point, really.
Dave definitely feels like things are getting pretty hairy in Verkin and felt like he had to make a quick escape.
So there isn't anything you're gonna miss about leaving this house?
Not a damn thing, and that comes from the heart. I'm sick of it. I'm not gonna be a system sucker anymore, you know.
Dave wants to move completely outside of normal, everyday society, where his only interaction with people is through his own choice. Right now, Dave doesn't even want to tell us where the property is, even what state it's in.
So you were excited about it when you heard about it?
Yeah, we're pretty excited to get out of here and to stop renting and all the money we can be spending on making our own house.
What's to say, you know, you're cooped up on a 1/4 acre, paying rent out your nose. There's not much to miss. The neighbors around here are a bunch of nosy liars. I've been kicked out of many houses, but this, you know, I'm not kicked out of this one. Because they tried to. They said, well, you know, a lot of neighbors would call. I said, well, you know what? That's just their tough problem. You know, I can't be discriminated against. I can't very well call up somebody else's landlord and say, how there's a faggot living down the street. I want him out of here, you know? Even though my claim would probably be more legitimate.
What's the American dream for you?
Living off the land, building your own house. Having your kids, raising them, growing some crops, growing, you know, just living life according to the plan, you know. It might be about a week from now, but you know, like I said, we'll take you a little tour.
That'd be great.
And then we'll have to give you some drugs so you forget everything.
The local sheriff is hitting Johnny with a summons.
Count 1, failure to respond to a police officer, 3rd-degree felony.
We're concerned there might be trouble.
Now you need to stay in the court, all right?
Sure thing.
And David Dalby is finally letting us in to see his secret hideaway.
Just barely got it. Got the paper signed yesterday. So now there's nothing they can do.
Johnny is finally being issued a summons for his latest traffic violation. The other day, I went along with the sheriff when he went to deliver Johnny the summons.
This Johnny's getting a bit pain in the ass.
What's the summons for?
Count 1, failure to respond to a police officer, 3rd-degree felony. Count 2, carrying a loaded firearm in a vehicle, a Class B misdemeanor. Count 3, driving a motor vehicle while driving privileges that were suspended, a Class C misdemeanor.
How serious are these charges?
The misdemeanors aren't very serious. The felony is because Johnny's never been arrested for a felony before. And if he should lose the case on a felony, then we have a right to arrest him anytime he's carrying a firearm. Because once you're arrested for a felony, you no longer have a right to carry a firearm.
Do you think he'll appear?
In a way, I hope so, and in a way, I hope he doesn't. Then that'll give us a reason to put an end to this, arrest him on a warrant. Now you need to stay in the car like the one and ask him if it's okay if you to be here, all right?
Sure thing.
I'll be right back. Nope.
No one's coming outside to tell me I can go in and film this. So, things don't look good.
What's the matter, Nick? Well, that's served.
Thanks for having us up here. Sure. Come on into the humble abode.
So this is your new property.
Yeah, just barely got it. Got the paper signed yesterday. So now there's nothing they can do. This right here is my well. When it's it needs a new windmill pump, but we've already got it. It's just waiting on me to get the money together for a water storage facility, which will probably go right here. I'll probably weld some stairs up the side of it so I can have a little lookout above the water tank. Right here's our little trailer where my family and I are sleeping. We were using propane to heat it, but we noticed it's a lot better. We got the old timer to hook up some power, and now we got a little electric heater. Heats the whole thing just fine. And here is my loving family, my sad little booker boy, my loving wife. And this bed breaks down and both my little girls sleep on that bed. And then we all sleep on that big one over there. But by the time I wake up, I'm out of here, claustrophobic. We got my shed right there. I got a dog running around behind the shed, you know, fence it all off. And I would like to make one on the other side too, so I can have 2 dogs on one on each perimeter, which is gonna be right over there.
What would you say has been the biggest, you know, joy in being out here?
Living free. The freedom, I am 100% free. I mean, I guess I can't say 100% because I got to pay property tax on this. Right now it's about 20 bucks a year. And, you know, I'll be free, but I don't ever have to have any money. I don't need any of that Babylonian money in my pocket. Just want to live off the land, live by the scripture, raise my family, raise my crops. Just live. I'm doing what it takes to get out of the system. It takes a lot more than just saying, you know, oh, forget the system or the system sucks. You know, everyone knows that. But, you know, unless you got a plan B, then you're going to go with the system and you're going to take the mark of the beast when it's issued.
I'd be very interested to come back here in 6 months or a year and see if Dave was really able to stay outside of the system.
You know, all I want is to be left alone out here. And I know, you know, I mean, people say, oh, if you wanted that, you wouldn't be in the militia. It's like, well, no, if I wanted to live under communism, I wouldn't be in the militia. You know, that's exactly why I'm in the militia, because that's to safeguard my freedom and constitutional right to pursuit of happiness. And this is my pursuit of happiness. You know, if you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone.
Mr. Bangerter.
Sheriff Humphreys is making one last-ditch effort to keep the peace with militia leader Johnny Bangerter.
He just keeps spouting off. One of these days he's going to have to show his cards.
So what are we waiting for?
I'm just waiting for old Glenwood to show up. Should be here any time. In fact, I think that's him right there coming down lane.
Mr. Bangerter. How the hell are you?
Pretty good.
You ready for your big court date?
Waiting and wondering. I'm ready for it, though.
The sheriff and Johnny know each other very well. They've been on opposite sides of this battle for a long time.
How you doing?
That's Ariel.
She looks like her mother.
Yeah, she does, huh? She's shy at first, but I'll tell you, then she gets anything but shy. Hey, it was scary.
My dad.
See, this is all she thinks about ever since that night.
Did he get away?
He ran away.
Huh?
He came here.
You came here?
Away. I was scared.
Were you really scared?
Yeah, my dad got away from him.
Yeah, your dad always gets
My
away.
dad wasn't in there.
He let me go. Old sheriff here. He's the sheriff. You know that, don't you? You remember him there that night?
Anyway, I run you the computer, and you have got about $750 or $850 out in Arizona, and you've got
they lowered it, huh?
150 something in Idaho. So all in all, you're about a $950 wanted man.
That was it?
I've never seen any come across my desk any warrants for you or anything. So
I was going to ask if you had any advice for Johnny about his court case.
just be there. He knows that. Be there and get it taken care of.
I was just wondering if you two could explain why it's important that you keep lines of communication open between the two of you.
It's important. Just to have good friendship. I trust Humphreys. You know, and if I didn't know him, I don't think I trust him. I'd never trusted anybody in law enforcement. And,
but the sheriff holds a special position here because of the Constitution.
The posse comitatus, you're the man, you know, constitutional authority. More so than the governor, of course. You know, and you have the last say, of course, but they're overriding you all the time.
The reason it's better that I stay friends with John than enemies, because it's not a matter of if he's going to have a matter standoff, it's a matter of when. And I'm sure it'll come to that someday, because John's got his mind set on that, on doing that.
I'm not a troublemaker now.
And he just keeps spouting off. One of these days he's going to have to show his cards. And I don't want when he does, I don't want the feds down here shooting up the whole town of Verkin and that. I want to be able to communicate with him and come in and say, you know, this is bullshit. Let's knock it off.
It's happened a few times already. I think you've squelched many of the deals,
and it's so
that's been well appreciated.
Anyway, I've got to go to a wedding at 4 o'clock. Well, thanks for putting up with us, Johnny.
Hey, Sheriff. Always a pleasure having you out here.
Take care.
You bet, man.
You take care of him, all right? Keep him out of trouble.
Yep.
See you later, dude.
Johnny has been waffling back and forth about whether or not he's going to appear in court. But after the sheriff's meeting, I think Johnny really made up his mind to go.
Al, how's it going? It's Johnny.
Al Boyack is kind of the unofficial lawyer of the Army of Israel. He is the one that Johnny always turns to in a pinch.
Just met with Sheriff Humphreys.
He came over to talk to you, and what happened?
Oh, we just bullshitted and talked a little bit. We really didn't discuss the case. You know, we just talked about the court date, I think, more than less than anything.
When is that?
It's the 20th, next Thursday.
What are you going to want me to do, if anything? Do you want me to represent you?
You bet, you bet.
I won't need the national war debt, but I'll need a little bit, you know.
You bet. And I'll definitely take care of you on that.
Okay, so that's the summons of the date that you're supposed to appear, right?
It's interesting that he holds Al Boyack in such high esteem because Al, you know, admits that he doesn't share Johnny's beliefs and he has worked for the federal government in the past.
Okay, well that's cool because that's just gonna, is it 1:30 in the afternoon?
Exactly, 1:30.
Okay, that's just a dog and pony show. We go in. I plead you not guilty. For gosh sakes, if you want me to represent you, show up at 1:30 on the 20th.
You bet. I will, Al.
The 20th is not going to be any big deal, but we do need to start working on it.
When do you want to get with me?
I know you don't have a phone, so let me set that up now. Why don't you meet me on the 19th?
Sounds good to me.
And we're due on the 20th to go into court, right?
Yep, 20th, 1:30.
Okay, well, grab some Yankee dollars and put them together, or either that or some Dixie bucks, and we'll talk about that. And
Sounds good.
And I'll see you on the 19th, 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, I got it.
Come unarmed and alone.
As the court date approaches, we're all wondering how Johnny will react once he's inside the jailhouse.
Morning.
Hey.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I'm all right. Johnny's getting himself finished up.
Hey, Craig, what's up?
Hey, how you doing? Oh, what's going on? So, I decided I'm not going. I was thinking of all kinds of excuses why I wasn't gonna go to court.
You couldn't sleep.
Flat tire, no driver's license. You know, there's all kinds of excuses I could have.
Johnny's days of running from law enforcement seem to be coming to an end.
So is he going to do the check-in and the fingerprinting after then, or?
Yeah, if it's number one, yeah, definitely.
I need some wax for my.
All right, Johnny, I can't film anymore, so.
All right, Craig.
See you when you come out.
It's gonna go good.
Good luck.
All righty.
I made him check in for.
When we got to the courthouse, Johnny went inside to face the judge and the summons. We weren't allowed to film in the courtroom, so we waited outside. The sheriff is planning to be in court when Johnny's there in order to make sure that everything goes smoothly and that people understand to treat Johnny very carefully so that the situation doesn't escalate and get out of control. In the courtroom, the judge scheduled the date for Johnny's preliminary hearing. Since Johnny was facing felony charges, he had to go down to the jail with the sheriff and get booked. It's standard procedure to book someone for a felony. Johnny was no exception, but he seemed to get special treatment with the sheriff being there, and it seemed like everyone was aware of Johnny's reputation.
Pretty good. It's been a long time since I've done this.
He was a kid or what?
Yeah.
A younger kid?
Yeah, exactly. I think I was like 19. Freedom. We'll walk out of here.
Johnny walked out a free man today, but he will have to come back and face a jury trial.
I like a lot of these people, you know, a lot of sheriff's deputies and especially Glenwood Humphreys. He's a real good man. I have a lot of respect for him and a lot of respect for this department. I've said it over and over. But the laws that they're upholding are unconstitutional. And you gotta draw the line somewhere.
These people believe ultimately in freedom. That's what the First and Second Amendment boils down to. And so they believe that there shouldn't really be a lot of checks on their behavior. And I think that all of that is ultimately going to come to a head.
One day we're gonna have to meet face to face with the federal scumbags, and we're gonna unload some lead on them.
The time's going to come, and they're going to have. Johnny can't keep making all of these threats and being Mr. Johnny Bangerter without eventually having to do something. And when that comes down, I hope I'm able to squelch it and take care of it.
And the only way this flag is coming down is if we're dead. Yeah, we're not going to give in.
You follow your heart, it'll tell you. Don't be followed astray by those self-serving desires, and just stay true.
Johnny and his attorney are awaiting a trial date where they hope to plea bargain if Johnny can keep his cool.
Johnny and Dave continue to recruit new members for the militia, but it's unclear how successful they've been. In the end, though, their numbers are less important than their convictions.